Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k, Rogue Trader. As today we set up our own channel and we're finally into prime time. I mean, sure, we could have taken the circuitous route, but I figure we've got points to spare and we are coming up on the end, so there's not much point in saving them now. I'm not sure how long Argenta's thing is, so I guess we'll get right to it. To Roth Ta we go. Okay, no warp encounters. And no other connecting sectors aside from the default connection with Lapidus Mortis. Let's have a peek. Oh, weird. Okay. An anomaly plus a single planet. I'm guessing Salus Prime? Yes. This is it. Salus Prime. The place where I suffered my defeat. No, that's not right at all. It's the place where I am to pass my trial. Argenta's voice is emotional, trembling. The augurs are operating at full capacity, but the data we are receiving is limited. The planet's magnetosphere is hindering our scans. Fierce, never-ending storms constantly ravage the surface. Relying on Sister Argenta's memory is the only way to find what we're looking for. It's an easy enough task. Just look for the tallest mountain on the northern continent. That is where we're headed. That mountain isn't a mountain. It is the very ship we are searching for. A ship the size of a mountain that somehow survived planetfall? Yes, Argenta says with reverence. Legends say that the ship fell from the skies, yet it wasn't destroyed by the impact. What was it, I ask you, if not a miracle and a testament to the glory of the Imperium and its saints? The ship towers over the planet's desolate surface, encased in ice on all sides. But from up high it looks just like a mountain, majestic and lonely. Okay, and what exactly should we do once we find this mountain? Above all else, our mission is to search for any evidence of the accursed cultists who attacked me when I came here last. I am still one of the Sisters Pronatus, and my primary responsibility is to protect the Holy Relic. If we succeed, I hope to complete my pilgrimage, to enter the halls of the sacred ship and find the relic itself. The One Star. Right, but you do realize it's been quite a while since you were last here. What if the cultists are long gone? What if they took the relic with them? Then I will chase after them to the ends of the universe, through darkness, fire, and all the horrors of the warp. Her voice is vibrating with anger, but a moment passes, and she calms herself surprisingly quickly. But I do not believe that those rotten-souled scoundrels could have stolen the relic. It says plainly in the Saint's hagiography that only one who is righteous and resplendent of heart can enter her ship. I know her power is greater than the most profane sorcery of cultists. What could they possibly do to match the workings of one who was a living saint of the Imperium? You know, I'm not entirely sure, but I suspect we're about to find out. Let's head on down. Lord Captain, I must warn you, you won't have much time for this expedition. We are registering an increase in storm activity. The weather conditions are deteriorating rapidly. This isn't about rain or hail. The local storms can perforate a shuttle mid-flight. Everything in our path is a test, be it storms or heretics. My last visit to this planet ended with the archenemy's servants wounding me and claiming the lives of my brave companions. This time, it will be different. You and I will fight side by side, Rogue Trader, and we will do what must be done. Indeed. Hold that thought. Before we head down, let me just see whatever's going on over here. Master Helmsman Ravor reports on the giant anomaly covering most of the system. Confusion is evident in his voice. The augurs are incapable of detecting the area itself and the objects within it, but it is obvious that they exist. The blurry blots of planets and space debris are visible from the bridge of the void ship. The area distorts even the faraway stars, dim sparks enclosed in thick, curved glass. Interesting. Like a sector-wide concealment field. Would certainly help explain why no one can seem to find this place. The ship's instruments are powerless before the aberration of the Wraith Tawi system, and so is Cabela's divination. The reading of the Emperor's Tarot provides no answer, for no card in his deck can relay the twisted and aberrant nature of the anomaly. Oh, weird. Why would they name-drop Kibbles? Like, why randomly insert her into this one specific event? I mean, my first thought was that this was just some sort of effect being put off by the Living Saints ship. Though the event implies that it's some sort of malevolent or aberrant effect instead. Which I suppose could be what caused her to crash in the first place? I guess we'll find out more once we actually get down there. We'll revisit the anomaly on the way back out. It's just strange. They randomly tossed Kibbles into the mix there. You know, she's a DLC character, a companion the player might not even have access to. So it feels like it would have made a lot more sense for them to just name drop someone else. Adira, Heinrichs, Cass. Any one of them would have been appropriate for the scene. Anyway, let's have a look around. I will be pleasantly surprised, though, if it turns out that Argenta's quest somehow intersects with Kibble's whole thing. Dashing Aquila. The wearer gains the dash ability that costs 0 AP and can be performed twice per round. Whenever the wearer uses dash, all adjacent enemies suffer minus 30 perception until the start of the wearer's next turn. Interesting. So basically... Well, hold on. How would you... Right, yeah. Like, dash uses all your MP, so how would you use it twice in a single round? Unless, I suppose, you also had a supplementary ability, which restores MP. Which isn't beyond the realm of reason, I suppose. There are several talents and abilities that do that. And Harrowing Gloves. When the wearer uses Intimidate, the targets are also afflicted with Staggered for 1 round. I mean, Intimidate's already a pretty substandard ability. We only took it because we had nothing else to take. But I suppose Staggered does make it slightly more appealing. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty decent debuff. But I'm just not sure that really justifies a hand slot. We've already got some pretty decent items. Same with the Dashing Aquila. Our next slot's just 2. Hotly contested. You notice...
A Lord Captain who graces the freight line with visits and speaks to the lowliest of serfs? Retirement has never sounded more tempting.
All it means is that he is more attentive to his subjects than Lady Theodora ever was. It is unfortunate that you should find this surprising rather than heartening.
I mean, yeah, she's not wrong. Careful there, Abby, you're backsliding a little. Though I do suspect that's because that particular dialogue was meant to fire much earlier in the campaign. You notice a number of dark objects that are hidden beneath the ice. Signs of an ancient battle, perhaps? Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say we are indeed in the right place. The loading screen indicated as much, as does, I suppose, the giant half-buried ship And the Chaos drop shuttles? That's kind of cool.
Keep your wits about you.
Oh, and... would you look at that? A rippling silhouette appears where the light rays coming from the sorceress device converge. Ah, the little puppet of dogmas. The one who was so kind as to bring me and my brethren to this planet. You've returned to me. And just at the right time, too. Fury sparks in Argenta's eyes. Who are you? I do not know you, sorcerer. No, you don't. But you should. I am called Brother Afterlight. Divine blessing flows through my veins, and my ears hear whispers of the truth that you will never comprehend, puppet. All you need to know is that of all the disciples of the Final Dawn in this corner of the Coronis Expanse, I am the strongest. I mean, that's a pretty trivial claim to make these days. We've killed all your brethren and your god, so, yep, by default you probably are the strongest left. The ghostly figure lets out a laugh. I hear such hubris in your words. What I should hear instead is despair. Or haven't you realized it yet, stranger? You are fighting a war against an ocean without end. No matter how many of my brothers and sisters you cut down, those who join our ranks will always be greater in number. Uh-huh. Well, that's enough of that. The little puppet has brought some friends with her. Good. I have just finished with the remains of the last group of fools who risked coming to this planet with you. You remember their death cries, don't you? Or do the lives of mere pawns mean nothing to you? The Emperor accepted the souls of his faithful. They died cursing your name, the name of the puppet who had brought them to the slaughter, and then alone escaped with her life. Enough! Be silent! Argenta lowers her weapon and drops her head. Such painful mistakes. I brought heretics to a sacred ship. I lost the battle for a holy relic. And I let those who follow me die a terrible death. All because I decided that I could achieve everything on my own. That it was my purpose and mine alone. Look, Argenta, I know I told you in the past that you do need to own up to your mistakes, but you also can't let yourself get trapped in the past. Recognize your mistakes, but learn from them. You can't change what's already been done, but you can keep working towards a better future. You have told me more than once to pay more attention to the errors I make, Argenta says with bitterness. But now is not the time for this conversation. We must stop that monster and protect the relic. Come. Whoa, Argenta, phrasing, please. Though, you know, I will say, from having perused a social media thread or three, I can definitely say that there's at least a few folks out there who would absolutely take you up on that invitation. I, however, am apparently spoken for. The planet's weather constitutes a serious obstacle to a successful landing. This altar to the gods of the warp is made up of several parts. They must have assembled it here after transporting the components from somewhere else. Yeah, there are a shocking amount of thirst posts out there for poor Argenta. I don't really get it, but you know what? To each their own. Goodness knows, I suppose I at least understand lusting after her a bit more than Marazai, but again, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum or what have you. I mean, I did penetrate the guy. Restless Absolution. Two-handed power sword. If this weapon's attack fully negates the target's armor, it deals an additional plus 75% damage. Not awful, but also we don't use two-handed power swords, so also not particularly useful. I mean, in theory, someone like Abby could make good use of it. I just have more fun with the hammer's knockback. Chaos Body Glove. Reticle light armor, so immediately useless to us. Plus 15% damage on Psyker or Navigator powers. Oh, right, I guess technically we could give it to, like, Adira. She would benefit from that. Though it is interesting that they also include Navigator powers. Is it possible for Cass to become a heretic? Since beyond her, I don't think you can actually get... Well, no, I suppose you could also hire a generic Navigator. I'm just not sure if you could actually control...
Let us not dawdle.
What doctrine they end up following. What did we just ping? Oh, I see. There are human remains under the ice. Mazoa pattern lasgun. Ah, cultist. So this is our obvious side approach. No doubt slightly safer to take than walking across these very conspicuous ice bridges.
Always keep your eye on the price.
More lenses. Marked as targetable, so I think we see where this is going. Oh. And so we meet, face to face. Afterlight does not look alarmed or tense, merely somewhat puzzled. Welcome to my temple. Your every word defiles the air of this place, heretic. The threshold of the sacred ship is not your temple, and it never will be. Oh, you have no idea how mistaken you are. Afterlight nods at the unmoving ship and the sinister-looking devices nearby. For a long time now I have been preparing to bend this relic of your cult of puppets to my master's will. You Imperium lackeys are blind, stubborn, and carry the stench of dead flesh wherever you go. But you make for good sacrifices, and the baubles you worship make for superb materials for artifacts. I am the maker of miracles, the arch-artificer of the final dawn. My hands mold creations capable of transforming reality. Bone flutes that summon my master's angels from the immaterium, lenses that burn away the imperfections of people and worlds. Such things require resources. I found good use for the rabble that came with you to the planet back then. I'll find a use for your new friends, too. And you, and this ship, and whatever relic it holds. Oh, sorry, are you done? I figured I'd let you ramble about your secret plans for a bit there, but I'm not really hearing anything all that interesting. I'll go ahead and shoot you now. Feel the wrath of true divinity, puppets of the corpse.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
I'll turn you into corpse starch.
Pass. Alright, well, I mean, unless this guy's got a banger of a secret up his sleeve, I am not seeing how this fight lasts more than 2 rounds tops. Lenses are a bit of a wild card. Might be cloners, might be demon spawners. Either way, there's only 2, so should be pretty easy to take out on round 1. Aside from that, not really seeing much of note. Even Brother Afterlight himself only has 500 hit points. That's a pretty trivial sum compared to most of our other recent fights. But, you know, as always, we shouldn't get too cocky. They might hit us with a curveball. You know, given the tie-ins to the Final Dawn plus the lenses and all, it might have actually been kind of fun if Brother Afterlight ended up being the warden from Rykadi Philia. That guy cloned himself a few times too. Would have been fun to find out that, like, that was the one we killed back then was just a clone. And the real one had gone off to continue working for the cult. Though I suppose the timeline wouldn't have really lined up because Argenta's first visit to Salus Prime predated the Warden going rogue on Rykadi Philia, I think. Though I suppose the evidence did show that the Warden went bad well before Act 1 as well. Not that it really matters, I suppose. I mean, Afterlight obviously is not the Warden. I just think it would have been a fun callback. Just my Dungeon Master brain up to its old tricks. I will say, though, based on the banter we've gotten here and how weak these guys seem to be, this does feel like an encounter that should have fired much earlier in the campaign. Like, I'm trying to remember if Argenta's had any real significant character growth any time recently, and I don't think she has. You know, she had her big Theodora reveal back in Act 3, and that really kind of went nowhere. It never came up again after her initial confession. And the whole Salus Prime thing has basically been lying dormant since the very beginning of Act 2, like 150 episodes ago. Yeah, because her companion quest back in Act 2 was resolved on Footfall, which was where you started Act 2. So, I mean, while I suppose you could have left Footfall and come back later to do her quest then, most players would have completed it right at the beginning of Act 2. That's a long time to go without any real notable character growth. Minus, again, the fairly detached confession scene in Act 3, which apparently players can just completely miss if they don't take her to Camorra. In which case, apparently, they just never find out who killed Theodora. Yeah, if I were to reconfigure that to try to find a way to make sure the player found out what is, to me at least, a fairly important story beat, and to better integrate Argenta into the rest of the story, I would say even if you didn't take her to Act 3 for the confession sequence, it should still ultimately come up again. Possibly as late as, like, the confrontation with Brother Twilight, with, Conrad. You know, at some point, Conrad should have found out, and then he could gloat to you about how you thought he had killed Theodora, but all along you were traveling with a person who had really done it.
I serve the ruinous powers!
And then that would, in turn, either prompt a scene on the spot, or allow you to then go talk to her about it afterwards, back on your bridge. just so you can get that important information and help continue guiding her character growth, I guess. Assuming you can actually influence her growth at all. I mean, I'm not sure we've actually seen much in the way of blue reactive text when talking to her. Not that we've really talked to her much, I suppose.
I will do my duty.
I don't know, she just, like, feels really detached from the story for a character, you know, looking back on it, for a character who plays such a pivotal role in the kickoff of the campaign. She really just kind of hangs out on the fringes for the rest of it.
Victory is imminent.
Though that may be something exacerbated by the simple fact that we weren't really using her in our active party. It's similar to Jai, I suppose. I was wondering why we hadn't gotten some sort of closer with her and Mercy. The mysterious Mercy she kept bringing up. It felt like a pretty prominent part of her narrative arc, you know, something that would help tie everything together. But then instead, it just sort of petered out after Falco, and never really came up again. And, you know, here we are at the end of Act 4, so I finally asked someone, and they told me that apparently you only get that end cap quest if you're actively romancing her. Which, again, feels like kind of a bad way to keep her integrated into the story. You know, a player is going to romance a single character at best. So if you gate prominent character info behind it, the vast majority of players are just never going to get any satisfying closure on that particular arc. But in the case of Argenta, you know, there's not even a romance path to blame for that sort of absence. She's just, I don't know, maybe she was supposed to have one, and they cut it during development, and that's why she feels so detached from everything else. Which I will say is also one thing I do kind of regret about killing Marazai. You know, he definitely had it coming, but at the same time, apparently he's really heavily tied to the story as well, so I do kind of wish we had kept him around just to see that. But, you know, again, he definitely had it coming, so I don't know. Anyway, just kind of thinking out loud. We're pretty much done here. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. A bit arduous, perhaps, since we have to do it. Oh, hey, welcome back, Afterlight. But yeah, we have to do the single shot style because that's just how her
This is why I was chosen.
ultimate works. But with 9 shots and the Blessed Bolter casing, which guarantees hits on single shot, I think we're good.
Doubt is for the weak.
After lights out, Argenta gestures for you to stop. She looks at the shining entrance to the ship and begins to speak quietly and solemnly. When I first learned of this planet's existence, of the great relic that lies before us, I decided that I was chosen for a great destiny, that the saint whose name I bear had summoned me, led me through the void and the nightmares of the maw, also that I could enter the sacred halls of this ship and accept her boon. Perhaps there was too much hubris in those thoughts. I made many a mistake on my way here. My pilgrimage to the sacred ship will become my trial. Yet I do not fear trials, for I draw strength from them. I do not turn my back on my mistakes, for I find wisdom within them. I walk forth with an open heart. Argenta, I kind of assumed we'd all be doing this together. Is that not the case? It is not. This is my personal trial, rogue trader. Besides, so it is written in the life of Saint Argenta that pilgrims may enter the ship one by one, for their deeds must first be measured. Every pilgrim will thence be permitted to behold the relic, or denied that right according to their past actions and the strength of their faith. Sure, but we can't all go in. We'll just go in one at a time behind you. You may, but you must wait for my return. Please understand that this ship is more than just a curious ancient site waiting to be explored. The ship itself is a relic imbued with great power. You saw it yourself. Even a sinister sorcerer, the archenemy's servant, in all that time, could not find a way inside. Only pilgrims may enter, and only those whose soul is without flaw. Alright, well, I mean, it seems like I literally have no choice, but this was your thing before we even met, so I guess you do have first dibs. Argenta nods. Her eyes are locked on the entrance. Only the worthy, those whom the saint accepts, may enter these gates. The undeserving will be rejected. I am ready to accept her verdict. Without another word, she starts walking toward the ship, toward the blinding light pouring through the gate. Light, I come to you. Phrasing. Oh, I think she just exploded. Lord Captain, please return to the ship. I urge you to hurry. The storm is coming, the one I warned you about. You can't survive it on the planet's surface. Sure, yeah, on my way. So, are you dead, or... Wait, it... I am unclear on what just happened.
Just as I planned.
The captive's skin is ruined by necrosis. These wretched souls were probably tortured with cold. I am curious as to what might have happened if we had, Oh, that's the... Okay. I am curious as to what would have happened if we had come at Afterlight from the ice bridges as opposed to circumventing around the side. He did seem puzzled at when we used the alternate approach. That does give the impression he had something set up for if we faced him head on. Maybe that would have turned it into an actual fight. Wow, so no unique items? Sister Argenta is gone, and there is no way to follow her. All the Lord Captain can do is wait for her to return. Which implies she did not, in fact, explode, so... Though there was an explosion. The entrance was completely demolished by the explosion. There is no way inside. Alright, well, Ow. Am I not supposed to go out here? What?
I always keep my options
Ow.
open.
knows no pain.
Alright, yeah, we're leaving. We're leaving. I am slightly befuddled as to how things played out here, but I do think we're supposed to leave. I will say, I like the way she talked when she went in, acknowledging she had made many mistakes, but not completely losing faith. You know, that other option, the other two options we had, I suppose. One felt like it was really designed to kind of beat her down, and the other to basically make her go full zealot. I like that she did seem to embrace the idea that you should acknowledge your mistakes and learn from them, but not necessarily dwell on them. Rogue Trader! The familiar voice greets you, and yet so much about it is unfamiliar. Oh snap, did you, Argenta is resplendent. The fire of faith burns in her eyes more brightly than ever before, and the majestic power armor in which she is clad shines just as bright. It can hardly even be called mere armor. It looks more like an artistic masterpiece, a beautiful painting, the sight of which fills the beholder's heart with inspiration and hope. Yeah, looks all right. I have returned from my pilgrimage, Rogue Trader. I have returned with the relic that was once bestowed upon my patron saint. So you found it. Good for you. Yes, I found it at the end of a long journey through St. Argenta's ship, and the moment I touched it, my heart was filled with calm and hope. It is a sacred relic, but its place is not within the darkness of a far-off planet, but on the field of battle against things impure and profane. And I am proud to have been chosen as its wearer and keeper. And the trials, how'd those go? I saw both everything and nothing. I walked the entire path in darkness, with nothing but my intuition to guide me. There were times when I felt like I was passing through grand palaces and cathedrals, untouched by decrepitude or elements. Other times it was like I was trudging through boneyards, places where martyrs had died at the hands of heretics. Only twice did light fall upon my face. When I saw the sacred relic before me, and when I saw the way out into the bright light of day. But through every moment of that dark journey, I knew I was not alone. The light of Terra and the call of my patron saint were with me the entire way. Okay, well, I mean, I'm glad it all worked out. Good to have you back. We've still got a lot to do. Indeed, and I am ready to follow you again, more than ever. Neat. Let's have a look at this thing. I'm sorry, Argenta. I mean, look, the armor is nice and all, but I cannot take you seriously with the skull brazier. I mean, as far as armor goes, it's not terrible. High-end defense. Plus 15 strength, which she doesn't really need. After using a heroic act, the wearer immediately uses War Hymn or Furious Recital. Honestly, given her range-heavy build, I almost kind of prefer the plus 15 perception from her normal armor, but yeah, you know, for narrative reasons. We'll let her run around in this. We're not apt to take her back out into the field anytime soon anyway. Since, and unless I'm missing something, this does feel like it might be the final part of her arc? So we really didn't get much out of that, aside from the level up and just the satisfaction of wrapping another quest, I suppose. Well, let's go do a quick follow-up. Perhaps she'll have some more insight for us. I don't know, I was just really kind of expecting more of a big character epiphany sort of thing. Argenta?
Greetings to you, Rogue Trader.
Argenta's face seems to glow from within, and her eyes are shining. Hey, so, your pilgrimage is complete. What are you planning to do next? You gonna stick around or go off and do your own thing? I mean, hey, I don't really have much for you to do, but if you want to stick around, I'm happy to have you.
More than ever, rogue trader. My place is on the field of righteous battle at the side of the Emperor's chosen. The one who helped me reach my journey's end and obtain the holy relic. Lead, and I will follow.
Okay. Sounds good. What a weird arc. I mean, not the worst arc, but it's not just me, right? Like, it feels like that was all sort of decoupled from anything else that was going on. It feels like it lacks the sort of usual interconnection from a million different directions that most of these plot arcs tend to have, which I wouldn't really think much of if not for the fact that she was so integral to, like, the first act of the game. Her role in Act 1 back in the prologue was essentially vital. Yeah, we can't do anything with this either. I don't know. I'm just kind of befuddled, I suppose. Maybe there's some step somewhere along in the process where I just missed something important that would have helped tie this all together. Feel free to weigh in below if you've got some insight or context I may have missed. But either way, I guess regardless, another quest marked off the to-do list, which, unless I miss my mark, just leaves Pascal, who, based on everything we've seen, should be much better integrated into the events we've witnessed throughout the rest of the campaign. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how that resolves, because I am very curious to see how much of my speculation has actually hit the mark. That said, I feel like I should really stick around for a moment and pop back down to Salus Prime, make sure we're not missing anything there. So this feels like, I guess, a good place to call it. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, poke around St. Argenta's ship a bit more, and see if I can figure out what's going on with this anomaly. And we will pick up here next time, as we tend to Kiava Gamma, and then tie our last loose end. Bit of a binary issue from what I understand. Pass or fail. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Fury V23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Giemza, OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
It is unfortunate that you should find this surprising rather than heartening.